Hey guys, how's it going? This is Justin from World Adventures. I've been on the road for the past 7 months, and I thought people might be interested to know how I've been traveling for free. So I've yet to discover the way where you can travel 100% for free. What I can tell you is there is a way where you can travel for almost little to no cost. You can even have companies and places pay for your flights. You can have all of your room and board covered, so that means all of your housing 100% free, food 100% free. Basically what I did is I signed up for a website called workaway.info. I'm going to go ahead and include a link in the description of the video so you can check that out at the end of the video. Workaway is it's a website that connects you with hosts around the world, and they will pay for all of your housing, they will pay for all of your food in exchange for you doing some type of volunteer work. I've broken the website into 4 different categories of types of work you can do. The first category is related to working with a family. This is where you pretty much move in with a family. You might have a room in their house, and you would basically teach their kids English. They might want you to pick their kid up from school, but basically this host family wants you to live with them. The second area of work would be working in a hostel. A hostel is, I'm sure if you're a traveler, you've stayed in a hostel before and you see people working the front desk. It's just like that. When I lived in Puerto Rico for 4 months, I worked at a hostel. There are different kinds of jobs. Some of them only have you work at the front desk. Some of them have you actually do the cleaning, the changing of the beds. It just depends what the work is that you're doing. Third category for work would be working on a farm. This is going to be any type of agricultural work where they're going to want you to work with your hands outdoors. This could be planting, this could be weeding. Basically, you're going to be doing any type of labor that you'd like on the farm in exchange for accommodation. So the fourth category is what I like to call random. This is because it consists of all the other random different things that don't really fit into the other categories I talked about before. So this is going to be your camp jobs, where they want you to be like a camp counselor, spend time with kids, which is what I'm doing right now in Spain. They've also got surf instructors, they've got yoga instructors. This is if you've got a special skill where you really know how to build, or you really know how to teach art or something like that, they're going to ask you to fill this specific position for them. Alright, so this is going to be step 1 in using workaway.info. The first thing that you want to do is you're going to want to look for a good host. First thing you want to look into is to make sure that the host has a good host rating. A good host rating basically means how active they are in their profile. So if a host signs on and never responds to anybody's messages, they're probably not going to respond to your messages. So you want to find a host that has about an 80% feedback rating or higher, which just means they're more active and it's more likely that you're going to get a response from it. Alright, step 2 is going to be reviews, and I'm going to say this is super duper important. Basically, reviews are people that have done this experience before. They've been to Mexico or they've been to Portugal and they've seen what this job is, and they're going to leave a review of how they felt about it. It's real people that have done the job that you're going to do, so you can get an idea, oh, do I really want to do this or not? And they're going to give you an honest review of how they felt the experience was, whether it was good or bad. In my opinion, I would not pick a host that has 0 ratings. If a host has 0 ratings, it basically means that no one has left a review for them, and you really don't know how the experience is going to be, so it's something I would kind of steer away from. I've gotten to an experience before. I went to a workaway and it had no reviews, and it was a bad experience. Sometimes there's brand new hosts and they've never had people before, and I understand that. But if you can see a host has had a profile for several months and no one has ever left a review for them, it might be something that you want to check out. Step 3 is going to be contact the host directly. Through the website, you can send them a message, and for me, emailing someone is just not enough. If you're going to be flying halfway across the country to go work for someone, you're going to want to have at least a Skype or a phone call with them, and tell them that. Say, hey, I would love it if you could, give me a moment of your time to talk to me and give me a Skype conversation. If you ask a host to have a phone call or a Skype interview with you and they're not willing to take the time out of the day to have a conversation with you, it's not worth it. Do the workaway. If someone can't take 10 minutes out of their day to give you a phone call or a Skype interview to explain the experience and explain why they want you to come work for them, then you should not work for them. Step 4, ask a lot of questions. Questions are super helpful. I mean, think about this. You're about to travel halfway around the world, or you're about to travel to a whole complete brand new place. They might not even speak the same language as you, and you might want to know what you're getting into. Like, what's it going to be like? Who are the people there? What are they going to feed me? What's my house going to look like? So these are some basic questions that I've used when I contact hosts that really help me get a clear and concerned idea of what I'm going to get myself into. So question number 1 that I always ask is, what does the accommodation look like? The accommodation is like the housing. Like, are you going to be sleeping in a bunk bed? Are you going to be sleeping in a van? There are literally workaways where they want you to sleep in a van in their backyard. There have been workaways where the host family wanted me to stay with them, and they said, you can stay in our room with our 4 other children. So imagine that. You're going to have a bed in a room with 4 other children. No, not what you want. Question number 2, that is super important as well, Is there any food provided? There's a lot of workaways that actually provide 3 square meals a day. There's a lot of workaways that only give you breakfast. For me, I think the best possible circumstance is to find somewhere where it's going to feed you breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you want to travel for free, you want to minimize your costs as much as possible, and you can do this by having all of your meals provided for you for free. Question number 3, how many hours am I going to work per week? I cannot stress enough that this is super duper important. The guidelines with Workaway have been established so you only have to work 25 hours a week. The goal of Workaway is you work a little bit and you have plenty of time to adventure, explore, and enjoy yourself. There are workaways that will say you only have to work 25 hours a week, and when you get there, they expect you to work 40, 50, maybe even 60 hours a week. So for example, I did a workaway in Puerto Rico, and I worked 3 days a week for 8 hours, so that was 24 hours a week. I did another workaway where they had me work 5 days a week for 5 hours a day. Both equaled about 25 hours, but just kind of changed up the timing a little bit. So the question is, what's the best schedule for you? Do you want to have work every day, or would you rather have more free time off to go explore more? The biggest thing with this question is to make sure that they're not going to take advantage of you, because basically you're providing them with free labor, and it has to be fair for both people. If you're going to be working 40 hours a week, you have to understand that they're not paying you any money. They're only giving you maybe meals and maybe somewhere to stay. Super important to find out how many hours you're working in a week, because you just want to know what's going to be expected of you. Question number 4, ask what the work is that you're going to be doing. It's super important to know exactly the tasks. Feel free to ask them. Say something like, what's the day in the life of a workaway? What would I exactly be doing? Find out exactly what they want you to do, that way there's no surprises when you show up. Don't sign up for a job if they want you to work on a house and you have no idea how to do any type of construction. You need to do a job where you think you can actually accomplish it. It's fair to ask them. If you ask a hostel, do you want me to work the front desk? Do you want me to clean the toilets? If you don't want to be cleaning toilets, then you should ask them and have an idea of what you're going to be doing. Step 5. This is what I like to call compare and contrast. Basically, there's a ton of hosts all over the world. So for example, if you plan to go to Spain and you want to work at a hostel, I'm not joking, there's got to be at least 100 different hostels in Spain that want you to come work for them. So don't just pick the first one that you see. Do some research. It makes some sense to look at each hostel and see what they have to offer. One hostel might want you to work 25 hours a week, but they give you no food. Another hostel might want you to work 30 hours a week, but give you 3 full meals a day, and the room might even be nicer than the first hostel. So it makes sense to do your research and see what the best possible option is. There are definitely workaways that are better than others. The more clear you are on your decision will make the outcome a lot better. So something really important to do is just research. Step 6, contact a previous workaway. Are you still feeling nervous? Do you not know if this is really for you or not? If you really feel like you're not sure about something, feel free to contact a previous workaway. When you go on the host profile, you can see all the reviews that have been left. Every workaway that I've ever worked for, I always leave a review for them, and I tell people, if you'd like to message me personally, please do. And I've had people ask me, how was it? Reaching out to a previous workaway can be a great way to get information about the area, things to do, the things that they like the most, different things like that. So if you really want to, you can contact them. Something to remember, if you go through all of my recommendations for you and you get to the workaway experience, it might totally suck. You never know. I mean, you're going to be traveling to a brand new place and it might not be what you're expecting it to be. And the biggest thing to remember is this is 100% volunteer work. If you go to an area and you're not happy, it's simple enough as just message someone else on the Workaway website, buy a plane ticket, or drive somewhere else and just go there. I'm going to include a link in the description on how to get to workaway.info. If you have any questions, you can send me a personal message if you want any more information about anything that I've talked about today. Thanks a bunch for taking the time to watch this video. Like and subscribe for more. I'm going to keep posting shit.